want to thank the city of Wayhuna. Gave me a great few years. Had a great career here. I feel like I've been here for my whole life. Spent several seasons here. It's so good. Just want to thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for the many seasons that we've had to endure this whole time. Yeah.
Like, bro,
Well.
it's only been one season.
Fuck!
Let me tell you how it's about to go. Let me show you the towel you're about to throw. This is hip-hop, try to run it on house or knock your ass straight out the door. I'm the enemy's epitome, the fantasy, my tendency to mentally give your career the death penalty. I instantly advise you to match my intensity. Try to fit my brain like Jackie Kennedy. I'm so tired of the why not tired of putting MCs in a pine box. You motherfuckers couldn't even hit me in my blind. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Lost Legends TV. We are Reddit MC, and I'm Ray.
And I'm Jazz.
The moment we all been waiting for.
Red time.
Episode 8. I know what to do last summer. Season finale.
For those who have watched, you got to this episode and you're like, okay, even if you were, maybe you were like us, maybe we were just like us, like, I'm kind of done with the series, but maybe there's a good twist.
No, maybe.
If you watched the last episode, you saw us make our predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do want you to understand that once the cameras cut off, like, started to realize, like, who the killer was.
Yeah.
It was true.
It was true.
For episode 8, it was god awful. Like, I don't think I've hated an episode more in this entire season.
As a closing episode and your finale, I don't think it was up to par to any other episode. Even the worst one. Like, I might have hated it more than 6 when the Raleigh situation happened. Mm-hmm. Again, I was hoping at least be on par with 2. Mm-hmm. No.
Even with us kind of knowing who the killer was going to be.
Yeah.
If they'd have done a good reveal, I'd have been cool with it. But they just did too much stupid shit.
The actual reveal is just lazy.
It's lazy. The actual ending is stupid.
It started off directly where 7 ended. Lennon wakes up in bed with Margot.
And then she starts like talking to Margot about how Dylan might be the killer.
And here we are with this shit again.
The only reason she's doing it now is because she told Dylan that she was really Allison. And he went crazy like he should have. And Margot's like kind of suspicious now, like Helen's in the episode. She makes no fucking sense. She had told Allison and Lennon, Allison and Lennon, or whatever. She told them both, technically, because she did tell them both. She didn't want them a part of their lives. She did not want them to be a part of their lives.
Another thing I didn't understand about Helen coming into this is she recognized Allison as Allison, despite not seeing her for 10 plus years. But everybody around her,
she was literally 8.
Everybody around her's been there every day.
I mean, we'd be doing you a disservice if we drugged this out like longer than it should, because a lot of this was just filler. Dylan went and told Lala everything, and she thought he was crazy. She went and checked up on it, which was fine. Questioned Margot. Margot said the same shit that she'd been saying about how she wasn't friends with Allison. And then she questioned Bruce about it.
For some reason, Margot just has a change of heart about Allison, because she says Allison's acting super suspicious now. So she goes for Dylan for help.
She had went to Lennon, was talking to her, went to go use her bathroom.
Oh, yeah,
the condom.
That's right.
She saw a condom in there, questioned her about it. Not specifically. She's like, you sure nothing happened between Dylan? Like, he didn't come in or whatever? She just straight up lied to her. Like, most of it is literally just Lila interrogating people.
Was it episode 6 or 7?
It was 7 that she popped up at the very tail end.
You know, I'm talking about when she told Fred, tell her mom to call her.
Oh,
Remember
I think
that?
it was episode 5 or 6.
Anyway, so she comes forth. Helen comes forth, and the first thing she says out of her mouth is, Allison? And then...
She didn't even try to hide it. Like Allison legit did not try to hide this. Like, no, I'm Lennon. She started at first, but it fell apart immediately. She just went...
Even then, like, she has to uphold this lie, right? Everybody. But the woman she hasn't seen for 10 plus years, and I know it's her mom, but does she really think she can trust this woman? The woman who lied about being dead to you? I thought that was like, whoa, that was not a good move. And then they start talking about the cult, the marriage history, and Helen says blatantly, I was basically pretending. The suicide thing happened, which they never really went into that. Why?
About her faking her suicide?
They never really explained why the mass suicide happened, did they?
No.
Yeah, they never went into that. Hey, I tried to move on with your dad. I tried to be a mom, but it just wasn't me. It wasn't the life that I believed in. She's there for what they call the Bible, which she also questions Bruce about later, and he has no fucking idea where it is, and he's not really too concerned about it.
Which she never finds.
Nope.
Allison just gets upset, says, I wish you were fucking dead. Basically goes around her house. At this point, this is when Margot goes to talk to Dylan.
Because she's suspicious because of the condom now.
She straight up asks him. He tells her the truth. She believes him. So she brings over Lennon's laptop, which I don't understand how you got her laptop without her noticing. Yeah, so Margot and Dylan hatch a plan to go to Carla's house to get more evidence, to talk to Helen, get her to admit that that's Allison or whatever.
Yeah.
She told Dylan to stay back, and she would go to it. And then we had this scene of her walking through the house scared and everything, acting terrified. She steps on some shit, like she smells dead bodies and shit. And at this point, I called it. I mean, we did not watch this one together either. I was pretty sure Helen was dead.
I did too.
I thought maybe Bruce might also be dead in this situation because he wasn't answering the phone to Allison, because it was going back and forth. Like, Allison was hearing shit, Margot was hearing shit, back and forth, and then Allison runs into Dylan. She's holding a knife on him, and they're talking and shit. And then Margot calls, and her phone drops.
Yeah,
her phone call drops
conveniently.
So Allison's like, how do we find her? So Dylan's just like, she's at Carla's. So they go to fucking Carla's. They don't ever really explain what the fuck Bruce was doing during this whole time, because he just wasn't answering his phone.
They discover, to their fright,
In this like basement area.
this basement area
that we've never seen before.
And it looked like this whole place looks like abandoned.
Yeah.
Like, she don't really keep it up or whatever. Episode 6, I'm not sure if Clara's house overlooks like a small village where everybody lived. Mm-hmm. But each building they went to looked like it hasn't been stepped in like 20 years.
Yeah.
They see Helen hoisted up dead. Like, she's dead as fuck.
She had something in her head. I can't remember what it was.
Now, they try to call for help. Of course, they don't have a signal. They hear somebody screaming in the background.
This part made no fucking sense to me neither.
Which I called it before this. I don't know if you did.
Well, yeah, I knew this was going to happen. It made no sense.
So naturally, they followed the noise, right? First, Lennon goes to investigate, and she sees Margot crying on the floor.
Dylan got knocked unconscious. Maybe 5 feet. Maybe 5 feet from Lennon.
If
he did, we didn't see it.
Because that had to been like a split.
It was literally boom, bam, down, and then she turned back and she couldn't see him. It was dark, I guess. The
room was half the size of a gym, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lennon goes to investigate because Dylan's gone now. And she sees Margot in this corner crying, pleading for help. She's like, oh my God, who did this to you? And then the corniest fucking reveal happens. I'm not even going to front. She says, you did.
Mm-hmm. She just stops crying. Which, again, this is what we called. It was Margot.
It was Margot.
Also, just because they kind of throw it in there because Kyle was helping her. Why?
Which, on the other hand of that, you see Kyle loading up a body.
Which was Helen.
Later.
It was Helen.
In a vehicle. But he is never mentioned after that.
No, literally, he puts the body in the car.
That's it.
What happened was it cut back to Bruce. He called May. Hey, have you seen Lennon? You know, she ain't answering her phone or whatever. It's going straight to voicemail. And May was like, well, I tried looking up on my phone to see where Margot is. It's not really pinging, but they're probably just having fun. Kyle really knows where they're at, so I'll find Kyle. While she says that, it cuts to Kyle putting Helen's body in the trunk. He gets in the front seat, and that's literally the last thing we see of him. She goes on about how she knew Lennon wasn't Lennon. That's fine. You just did those scars to match her. How do you think I would... She goes on about how she killed other people, and she killed Johnny. That makes no fucking sense to me. I at least kind of understand her mythology for it. Like, she killed Johnny, and her thing was because Johnny was real close to Allison, but you still won't admit what happened, or that you're not fucking Lennon.
I think what that was, the way I narrowed that down of her thought process. Early in this episode, you can see she's clearly deteriorating mentally.
Yeah.
She's obsessing with Lennon, clearly. And she also kind of did that in the last episode. I was like, pump the brakes.
Yeah, doing too much.
But anyway, I thought the whole Johnny thing, because she had mentioned that they had dated for a while.
Yeah.
You remember that? Because she said, well, when Johnny broke up with me, I couldn't handle that very well. So I pieced that together with her going to the fucking loony bin like twice. I think she's in a state where she can't handle, for one, rejection. And if she loves somebody to any degree, she expects like 150% back, and she will not accept anything less.
Yeah.
That's the way I took that as.
We do the reveal. She stabs Lennon. Lennon falls to the ground. Allison. It's Allison.
It's Allison.
Allison's pleading for her life, but also saying that she loves Margot. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so she's trying to pull at her heartstrings because that would make sense with what you were saying. Makes plenty of sense. She's trying to get her on her side. She goes and hides. Dylan wakes up and he's like, "Fuck, where's Linda?" He immediately finds her. And no problem. And Margot comes out of the dark with a fucking gun now because the knife is in Allison's fucking stomach. She sort of threatens Dylan, but Dylan takes the gun from her.
He didn't give a fuck. What's he gonna do with that?
While this was going on, Lala had gotten a thing about, we had a frantic phone call, which was from Dylan.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to call the 911. So they go to the house, and then she hears the gunshot go off because Dylan, I guess Margot had fired it when it happened. Dylan has the gun. He doesn't even really attempt to shoot Margot, but Margot plays the victim. Dylan's like, no, I didn't do this. You know I didn't do this. Allison, tell them I didn't do this. You know that I didn't. And in the stupidest, they did this thing where it was kind of quiet for a second, and they went back and forth between Margot and Dylan, and then Margot said something about, "I love you, Lemon," or something like that, and Dylan was just like, "Please, just tell her the truth." Like,
she had to pick.
And if you were in this situation, I know if it was you, there's no way you're picking the bitch that stabbed you. There's like not even she stabbed you. She was going to leave you for dead.
Pussy ain't that good, man.
Bro, she was like, "Dylan did it." I would have shot that bitch if I was Dylan. I don't care. At that point, I'm going to jail.
I was like, what?
Why?
I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why?
I called it too because I was like, when they did that silence, I was like, she's about to fucking pick Margot. Mm-hmm. Why? And then she called it and she did it. I legit almost ended it. But at this point, I was like, fuck it, I'm already here.
Oh, we forgot one important detail.
What?
Margot had put the DNA from the condom all over the knife. So he was framed from the jump. Like, he was fucked. He was just at the wrong place.
As a cop, that doesn't make any sense. Why is there fucking spermicide on a fucking knife?
No.
If you saw that, like, that's a frame.
But that is fucked. They stabbed the bitch.
They nuts on the fucking knife and stab the bitch. They arrest him and they get in the fucking ambulance. And this part, I don't know if you heard me. Because I said this really fucking loudly. They get in the fucking ambulance. And Lynn's laying there with the knife still in her stomach. And I'm like, they couldn't take the fucking knife out. Margot gets in there with her. And it's like, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. You put me in a weird position. I don't care who you are. I fucking love you. And I'm like, this makes no fucking sense. And then Allison tries to do this bullshit explanation of like, I know you probably wouldn't do this. No shit. It doesn't make sense.
A normal human being wouldn't do that.
You could have done even though we've seen this before. You could have had Margot get arrested and then somehow break out of that shit, and then bam, we have a season 2. And at least in that, I'm like, okay, so how the fuck is Margot gonna get back into this?
Don't forget, they still had Kyle, the character, to play with. They could have did anything. They'd had that resource and just fucking dumped it into the water. They
arrest, like they do this whole thing where they stand on the fucking rocks and shit, and she tries to give you this bullshit explanation about
this fucking voiceover monologues. Like, I know I'm not your normal person, and this is kind of fucked up. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up, bitch. Then the worst thing, and also Bruce is kind of going along with it because when he was talking to Lila, and Dylan had explained the shit about Helen too. He was like, "What's the update on Helen?" And the cop like, "Well, there's no proof she was even here." He was like, "Good, because she's been dead for years." So he kind of knows, but kind of
they did this whole picture thing. They swapped it. He swapped pictures so that whenever they were, which kind of made it seem like he was working with fucking Margot. He swapped pictures of his daughters, which I guess I get. Allison had this like, thing in her ear. Well, the body also had it, so that was and like he shows it's like
that must be conclusive.
God fucking damn.
And I don't know that much about twins, but I'm sure like DNA wise, there has to be some sort of separation, right? There has to be.
Yeah. So,
but there was like, you know what? Her ear's pierced. Mm-hmm. Look at this photo. Her ear's pierced. The sister ain't there, so it has to be.
Fucking Allison.
This small town are full of fucking dumbasses.
God, so fucking dumb.
You have fucking police who don't patrol fucking Riley's house after she gone missing. Her mom got murdered. You got fucking Lynn in an ambulance with a fucking knife in her stomach, just bleeding the fuck out. What's going on? I'm not moving that.
Dylan goes to jail. Lila took him and asked him for like anything. This is your last ditch effort. It's like, if this is my last ditch effort, there's no one else in this room, no one else besides her who might say, no, you're lying. And even then, she'll at least attempt to hear you. I would have said the whole thing. I would have gone back over one more time. I would have come at her with why the fuck was my semen on the fucking knife?
Yeah, he had the Bible from the cult. So I guess he's going to rebuild the culture of the previous cult. I guess that's his mission now. Which, throughout the series, he's always been kind of partial to the cult anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He understood it. He wasn't really like, hey, blah, 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 blah. Always kind of took a liking to it and a little bit of support. So the very end scene, the very last thing you get in the season finale.
Which also makes no sense because of how they had it staged. But,
it makes no fucking sense.
None.
We'll go into that too. All right, so before I say this, I want to say this with all my heart. This doesn't make sense as a cliffhanger.
Nope.
This doesn't make sense as a season finale.
Nope.
This doesn't make sense scientifically, even in Hollywood. This door opens, and we see our favorite character, Riley.
Covered in honey.
Standing up for some reason.
I'm assuming in, police storage. Because it was in a building. Because it was it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if it was, storage or fucking freezer.
There were shelves in the back.
Because we know at least 3 weeks has passed.
Yes.
Because Margot went to the loony bin therapy or whatever, and then came back, right? Yeah. So it's been at least 3 weeks since the funeral. And instead of Riley having a proper burial...
Also, another thing, so that whole night, after she got stabbed and lost her arm, which would mean you were bleeding out a lot, she lasted a whole fucking day. A whole day running around, moving around the whole town with no one else seeing her, getting back to her house, and then falling out.
Yep.
And then 3 weeks passed, and this shit.
So we zoom in on her. Again, standing up. Boom!
And I knew it was coming.
Her eyes
I fucking knew it was coming. Like, why were you doing this? Because it makes no sense.
Why would you do that?
Because here's the thing. If their logic was, okay, Riley's alive, so she'll be a part of season 2. In that aspect, it comes off more like definitely she'll be the killer in season 2. Because she'll be wanting to get revenge on Margot. Because she would have seen fucking Margot.
Well, here's the thing. If this happened the next night, it's a stretch, maybe. It's been 3 fucking weeks. I mean, you can't go without water for 3 or 4 days.
So who the fuck's feeding her water? Who's feeding her in general?
She hasn't ate in a month.
Another thing that made no sense.
Don't give me that honey bullshit either.
Another thing that made no sense. Neither Kyle nor Margot drove a fucking black truck. Not a single one of them. Dylan's the only one who drove a black truck. And they tried to do this thing where he was checking up on Lennon, so he was the one in the black truck for most of it. Mm-hmm. That's fine. But we literally saw a black truck hit Riley, got out, and stabbed her in the fucking chest. Margot's not that fucking strong. Nope. So it had to have been fucking Kyle.
Even then, based on the vehicle that he put Helen's body in, that's not a black truck.
No.
I will say this, it's not all bad. If they would have did away with the Riley thing for me, I would have been like, okay. I didn't like the reveal, but at least you did something that made me go, what the fuck just happened? Which hasn't happened throughout this whole fucking season. Well, small things has happened. Like, they did, way too many reveals early. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. But at least with this season finale, I'm like, okay, you at least gave me that a little bit. I'm like, all right. And then they worked in, the thing about it, they kind of misled us throughout the series. We thought the killer was involved in things, which the killer was never even really involved. Like, Dylan's note, I'm here. We thought that was the killer. That was just Dylan writing a note to Allison saying, hey, I'm here for you. So, that slight misdirection, I was like, okay, you gave me that a little bit.
Again, though, if I were to write, I'm here for you, for one, I would have wrote a text. They all had phones. He could have just texted that shit to her. Overall, it's fucking garbage. I will legit give them as much praise on as much things as I can. Episode 2, compared to everything else, might as well have been fucking the original Scream amongst fucking the rest of the Screams. Yeah. And not even that the rest of the Screams were bad. It was leaps and bounds above the other episodes.
Because the pilot fucking sucked. I'm like, I don't even want to watch this show, bro. This is bullshit. Then season 2 comes around. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going somewhere.
Right? Episode 3, sex. What are we doing?
And then 4 and 5 were just convoluted fucking subplots, man. Episode 6 was fucking phenomenal. Even though I hate what happened to Riley.
Yeah.
But they could have kept that format. Mm-hmm. That action sequence.
Another thing that I'll give them praise on. The kills. The kills were by far to me the best thing about the show.
Wish we had more. Yeah, not everything is bad about the show. Not everything. Like, you have small moments, even in these horrible ass episodes, that could have been fucking awesome. Here's what grew my suspicion about Margot, right? It was when she started kissing Allison in the restaurant. Because after that point, she seemed way too attached to Lennon, right? Mm-hmm. And that played out through the rest of the season. I'm like, okay, she's got something wrong with her. That's why she was doing the mukbanging, right? At the time of watching the episodes, nothing else made sense. Like, Dylan being the killer didn't make sense. Clara being the killer didn't make sense. Bruce being the killer didn't make sense. Johnny was dead. I didn't see the mom coming in being as a killer. I mean, I just knew that was going to happen. So the only out that I saw was, okay, they're giving us something new here, and they're going to run with that in the background. That's exactly what they did. So that's when my suspicion started, and everything else just fell into place. She started acting fucking obsessive towards Lennon, fucking hard. I knew when she got thrown through that fucking window, that confirmed it for me. Because as creative as them fucking kills were, as precise as the kills were, there's no fucking way that bitch walked away with a scar on her face.
Mm-hmm. If you had to rate it 1 out of 10,
5 being average, right?
I'll give it a 2.
I'll give it a 2.5. Final answer, 2.5 out of 10.
And the only reason I'm giving it a 2 is the kills in episode 2.
And that's the thing. You know, from the jump, when we reacted to the trailer,
we legit were like, bro, I hope it's not the...
We didn't have hope for it. It sucked us in and did its
job.
job.
Especially with the fucking kill of Johnny and everything. Because I didn't think Johnny was going to die that fucking early.
Well, I think the thing with episode 2 was it had excellent pacing, man.
Yeah.
Like, it was a slow build, and then you got the backstory of the black truck for the first time. Okay, they explain, like, Johnny and Coach Kraft's relationship. And then you got the backstory, development of Riley and Margot a little bit. You learned about them. And then you got this awesome-ass fucking kill. But the buildup of it, like, Margot FaceTiming and she got fucking cut off. And then it's like, oh, shit, what happened? Then you switch to Johnny. Johnny's walking in the gym, blood's dripping down. Of course you know there's a dead body. But instead of finding a dead body, you go to help. No, it's a fucking trap for both of y'all. That's creative.
Like,
the
it
killer
was creative.
wanted him to witness that.
Exactly.
It was good writing.
If they came out like in a month or so, it's like, you know what, we're making a season 2. I can't watch it. At this point, I'm just torturing myself watching fucking dumb shit.
The only way I might check it out, maybe, and this is going against the odds, is if Lynn is no longer the lead, if Riley's the lead. And that's zombie Riley at this point.
Yeah. Overall, I'll give it a 2 out of 10. You said 2.5 out of 10. I would not recommend this to fucking prisoners with only one thing to watch.
Like, I'm really disappointed because after episode 2, the show had leaps and bounds of potential. Like, it could have did something. And then we just got disappointed time after time after time.
And they had way too many fucking flashback scenes.
I'm glad it's over. I'm really glad we got Chucky going on.
Yeah.
Because we've been happy with it. There's a few things that's, but for the most part, it's a good show. Because, like, when I watched episode 8, I dreaded watching it, and I dreaded fucking reviewing it. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because I knew who the killer was.
When I put it on, I was like, I just hope I can get through this as quick as possible.
I won't be as hard as the whole Lena's decision, because, again, that made me go, what the fuck? I like that I got that feeling. If you think about it, right, and I'm not trying to defend it at this point, she's so far into being Lennon, she really didn't have a choice anymore. I mean, she could have. I mean, she would have got jail time for stealing somebody's identity and covering up a murder. So she just went, well, I guess that's not even less of the two evil.
Y'all have something else y'all want us to watch? Let us know, whether it's a TV show, whether it's a movie. Let us know what you thought about the series.
Because we're retiring this shit.
Yeah.
After 8 hours of fucking ranting.
We really appreciate y'all watching these, for the ones who did stick through and watch this whole series with us. Some of y'all at least enjoyed it. Whether you enjoyed our reviews or whether you enjoyed the actual show, I just hope somebody enjoyed it. I can't say that I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed doing this for y'all because I like ranting sometimes. I know you do. We appreciate y'all. We really do. So thank y'all. Until next time, deuces.
Adios.
What a slam. Then it's back to you, grouches. My crew just might roll on you.